There you are now, 20 years at TEFAF, and you thought it would be a good idea to bring with me a present for the Dutch.
Yes, the Dutch have been an extraordinarily receptive and warm and welcoming group of collectors and people, and TEFAF has been very supportive of me for the last 20 years. So in celebration of this moment, and because I worked with the Volkenkunde Museum in Leiden, and I have a very close attachment to that museum, I decided that it would be a good idea or nice idea, to thank Holland and TEFAF and honor their attachment and support, and to offer them this piece to help complete their collection of Maori art.
And what is it exactly?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a gift. You never ask what a gift is. It's a baler. It's for emptying the water that comes into the canoe when you're sailing. And it's a very special type of baler. It's very technical. It's called a Type 2 baler. It's used for small canoes in coastal waters or inland waters. Well, it was carved around 1850, 1860. Yeah. And that was identified as such by Dave Simmons, former curator of the museum in Auckland. And so it is a one-off piece. It's a very, very exceptional object.
This must be also one of your special items. Well, you can say, I only have special items.
That's so true, but some are more special than others.
Yeah.
This is probably the rarest object on the fair. It's one of about 16 known in the world. It's one of only 4 complete ones known. The others are all cut off, or at least just we have the head or the bottom section. And it's one of 4 small complete ones that are known. And it's a staff god, represents a very important deity from the island of Rarotonga in the Cook Islands, in the center of Polynesia. It costs upwards of €500,000.
But then you have something special.
Then you have a unique thing. You have one of 4.
Yeah.
How many people can say that?
Yeah. You are 20 years now here. If you compare, let's say, the first year and now, is there a big change?
Yes, the change is tremendous. It was quieter. It was somehow more refined. It was a little bit more confined. And I can say that my French colleagues and my French collectors didn't even know about TEFAF at that time. Everybody thought I was crazy. Why are you going to Holland in the middle of quote-unquote nowhere?
A city called Maastricht.
Yeah, I mean, what is Maastricht? Oh yes, European Union thing.
Yeah.
How do you get there? All sorts of amazing questions. What do you eat in Maastricht? Where do you stay? Do they have hotels? It was really
camping.
It was a cultural desert in the people's mind. Yet this amazing fair was already building, and now it has evolved into this gigantic temporary museum where we're close to 300 exhibitors, and it's the one museum where you can take home samples.
TEFAF is, of course, an art fair. You can buy the most beautiful art everywhere here in the building, but there is also an exposition with the name TEFAF Curated. Was it a surprise for you that you was asked for this project?
It was completely a surprise, yes. I was busy working in the gallery in the Gulbenkian Museum in Lisbon, and I got a phone call from my secretary saying there is a man called, and she couldn't pronounce Hidde van Seggelen's name, will you talk to him? And I said, oh yes, that's fine. And then Hidde said that he had this idea, and then I thought, yes, this could be interesting. Yeah.
Did you know TEFAF before?
I knew of it, it's famous, but because I was working more in the 20th century world, I suppose, and contemporary, it was less vital for me to come here. But it was always famous, yes.
What is the project exactly?
The theme is the reclining figure, but also how the reclining figure becomes the landscape or the horizon. So it moves from the figurative to the abstract almost, because the horizontal line, like you see here, between earth and sky is another aspect of quite a number of the works you see here. What I thought about was a theme that would allow us to bring in the contemporary artists, which Hidde wanted, but also to use some of the historic material from the fair, which I thought was the strength of the fair, that you could have a very big period. Behind me are the works by Charlotte Dumas, the reclining horses, who, after a hard day's work of taking soldiers to the cemetery in Washington, they finally rest. But apparently these horses, they're exhausted by the end of the day. They're taking corpses to the cemetery. It's a very tragic job. And she filmed them at night time when they were resting.
This is another part and another artist also.
This is Sadie Murdoch, and she made this project a few years ago, but it's always been in my mind. I think it's a great project. She was focusing on this famous reclining chaise longue, which normally is attributed to Corbusier. They're interesting because this is colour photography, but she has covered her skin in black and white makeup, so it becomes like a black and white picture. So it's kind of in between the past and the present. And you see how the necklace that Charlotte Perriand wore around her neck has kind of been exploded. So it's almost like the whole image has been exploded. And you have the famous chaise longue without the figure and with the figure, and these layerings of shadows, which are very nice because they reflect, I think, and echo the works by Spalletti next door and by Tremlett. And this reclining figure in the landscape, you almost see that there in the back of this picture.
What do you think of the idea to organize a kind of expo at the fair?
I mean, I think there are various purposes, and one is to introduce new galleries into the fair and to bring contemporary art and new audiences in. But I suppose I wanted to make more of what the fair already was. I thought that was such an opportunity to bring in some of the historic material and mix it. And it gives us a chance to have a more open space. It's more controlled, so there's more deliberate dialogue set up between the works, and there's more works by each artist. So for me, I'm pleased. I think it's a really good result, and the design looks very good. And I think the gallerists are pleased too. They've had to make some sacrifices. They have less individual space. They don't have tables of their own and all their paraphernalia. But hopefully it works better for the public in terms of seeing a space that's more homogeneous.